The British Empire was a marvel of ambition, expanding its reach across oceans and continents. It started in the late 16th century, fueled by explorers eager to unlock the secrets of uncharted territories. These brave navigators, like the famous Sir Francis Drake, sailed into the unknown, driven by dreams of wealth and glory, laying the foundation for what would become
As the sun rose over the
Atlantic.
Empire,
Ships laden with goods and aspirations set sail from British shores, eager to establish trade routes that would make England a powerhouse. The establishment of colonies like Virginia and Bermuda signaled the dawn of a new era, where England sought not just resources, but also a foothold in the new world. The excitement of discovery was palpable, and the promise of riches
With each
drove
voyage,
countless
the Empire's
adventurers onto their
influence
ships,
took hold.
transforming dreams into reality. The pulsating rhythm of trade thrived as commodities flowed across oceans. Spices, tobacco, and sugar became the lifeblood of commerce, enriching the motherland. Cultural exchanges occurred, the impact spread bringing beyond together trade. diverse traditions and ideas. The English language began its journey toward global dominance, while the Crown solidified its reign through strategic alliances and formidable military might. Mutual dependence between England and its colonies grew, weaving a complex web of loyalty and ambition. However, no empire
As the 18th
century
forever.
progressed, resistance brewed within the colonies as they sought autonomy from the tightening grip of the Crown. The American Revolution burst forth, echoing the cries of liberty and independence that would resonate through history. The empire faced challenges from rival nations, shifting the global balance of power. The decline began as colonies sought self-governing systems. The once mighty empire began to imperial dreams, marking the beginning of an end. In the wake of decline, the British Empire left a legacy of interconnected nations, drawing the world into a complex tapestry of history. The remnants of its influence are felt in styles of governance, legal systems, and cultural practices. The empire's schools of thought, literature, and technologies became the bedrock of modern society, illustrating how a colossal reign This journey birthed through the
lasting
rise and
change,
fall of the British
even
Empire
as its curtains fell.
beckons us to reflect on history's profound impact on our world today. The late 16th century stands as a pivotal moment in history, marking the endeavors of daring explorers who set sail into uncharted territories. Among them were renowned figures like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh, each motivated by a fervent desire for discovery and conquest. The faint outlines of old maps speak of promises and perils, guiding the way across unpredictable waters into the unknown. Sailing ships, their sails billowing in the wind, carried brave sailors willing to dream beyond the horizon and embrace a world filled with possibilities. As these explorers journeyed forth, the ocean transformed into a canvas of aspirations and fears. Virginia and Bermuda emerged as beacons of opportunity, their shores beckoning with the allure of untamed resources and the promise of prosperity. Visualize the first settlements taking root amidst the towering trees and wild landscapes. The air was thick with hope and anticipation, mingling with the cries of native birds and the rustle of leaves in the breeze. It was a world bursting with life, awaiting the arrival of a new civilization that would intertwine its fate with that of the land. Among the many challenges faced by these early settlers were the uncertainties of resettling in an unfamiliar land. The clash of cultures painted a complex picture as native inhabitants encountered foreign Englishmen whose ambitions often clashed with their way of life. Trading posts were established, creating a vibrant exchange of goods and ideas, yet tinged with the struggle for dominance and survival. The ships that once set sail as vessels of exploration now became lifelines of commerce and colonization, facilitating an intricate web that expanded England's reach across the Atlantic. As the sun set over these burgeoning colonies, it illuminated a future filled with both promise and challenges, laying the groundwork for nations that would eventually rise and thrive amidst the rich tapestry of history. The dawn of the 17th century saw the rise of the East India Company, a group of merchants seeking their fortunes in the exotic lands of India. Enormous ships laden with hopes and ambitions sailed across vast oceans, their sails filled with the promise of riches. As these vessels docked at bustling ports, they brought with them not just goods but the shadow of a burgeoning empire, eager to intertwine its fate with that of India. Within the sturdy walls of Indian forts, a collision of cultures began to unfold. These forts, once symbols of local sovereignty, became strategic outposts for the company's military and commercial ambitions. They stood tall against the backdrop of vibrant markets where spices, textiles, and jewels were traded, with the air filled with the robust aromas of diverse offerings. As the East India Company established its foothold, the local merchants and craftsmen found themselves entangled in a web of British economic strategies, shifting the very dynamics of commerce in the region. The political landscape of India transformed dramatically under the influence of the company. Treaties were forged with local rulers, often under coercive circumstances, shaping alliances and enmities that would alter the region's governance. Once autonomous states soon yielded to the pressures of the company, becoming mere pawns in a grander game of imperial control. The ambitions of the British were no longer restricted to trade, but extended into territorial acquisition, marking the inception of direct control over vast tracts of Indian land. In the heart of Southeast Asia, British influence flourished as a direct offshoot of the company's might in India. Trading posts sprang up in key strategic locations, facilitating the exchange of goods while simultaneously embedding British interests deep within local economies and politics. This expansion served to create a continental network that would see Britain's imperial ambitions spread beyond the subcontinent, reshaping the very essence of regional trade. As history unfolded, the legacy of the East India Company became one of paradoxes. While it heralded an era of trade and interaction, it also seeded significant cultural and political upheaval. The grand narratives of trade accompanied tales of exploitation, with local populations enduring the ramifications of imperial greed. The East India Company, initially a vessel of commerce, morphed into the very instrument of British imperialism, leaving an indelible mark on the fabric of India and Southeast Asia. The 19th century marked a pivotal moment in history, particularly for the African continent, with the onset of the Scramble for Africa. European powers, driven by a thirst for resources and expansion, began a race to claim vast territories, fundamentally altering the landscape and lives of millions. Against a backdrop of diverse African landscapes, from the sun-baked Sahara to lush southern grasslands, the ambitions of colonial powers unfurled like a tapestry, forever changing the continent's fate. Britain emerged as a key player in this conquest, acquiring territories that stretched from Egypt in the north, where the Nile flowed like a lifeline, to South Africa, where the seashores met the rugged mountains. Each newly claimed territory heralded the promise of infrastructure that would supposedly uplift the colonies. Railways wound through the countryside, connecting distant cities and facilitating trade. However, behind the facade of progress lay exploitation, as the resources harvested from these lands enriched colonial powers while impoverishing local communities. Colonial governance systems were instituted, often disregarding existing social structures and authority. British officials traversed cities built in Victorian architectural styles, commanding respect yet igniting resentment. As local customs were supplanted by foreign laws, a spirit of resistance ignited across the continent. Local uprisings became a powerful testament to the resilience of African people, who fought fiercely to reclaim their autonomy and heritage against an overwhelming force. Visuals of these uprisings painted a vivid picture of determination, juxtaposing the imperial grandeur of colonial cities with the raw energy of defiance. In every valley and desert, stories of struggle emerged, echoing with the cries for justice. Villages banded together, drawing strength from their cultural identities while refusing to be mere subjects of distant rulers. Resistance movements, fueled by the harsh realities of exploitation, showcased unwavering courage and unity. As colonialism took root in Africa, it planted seeds of change, leading toward a realization that the quest for control would be met with unfaltering opposition. The consequences of colonization are evident to this day, as nations grapple with the scars of history and seek to forge a path forward. The Scramble for Africa serves as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity, and the landscapes of Africa, now vibrant with culture, bear witness to the complex legacy left behind. The dawn of Britain's Industrial Revolution marked a turning point in history, where innovation became the lifeblood of progress. Factories burst onto the scene, transforming rural landscapes into bustling hubs of activity. These monumental structures, with their towering chimneys spewing clouds of smoke, symbolize the relentless march toward mechanization. Inside, steam engines roared to life, a fusion of iron and ingenuity, powering machines that spun cotton and wove textiles with unprecedented speed. This industrial metamorphosis not only reshaped the economy, but also redefined society, drawing populations from farmlands into the urban cacophony of the burgeoning cities. With the industrial progress came advancements in naval technology, that further solidified Britain's dominance on the global stage. Royal Navy fleets, now equipped with steam-powered vessels, became the envy of other nations. The sight of sleek warships slicing through the waves, their flags snapping in the wind, projected power and authority across the oceans. These formidable crafts allowed Britain to establish and protect its vast empire, ensuring safe passage for trade routes filled with valuable goods. As these ships set sail, they carried not just cargo, but the promise of exploration and the imposition of British influence around the world. The symbiotic relationship between the Industrial Revolution and imperial expansion was unmistakable. The increased demand for raw materials to feed the insatiable machines fueled the quest for colonies. In turn, the vast resources extracted from these lands, cotton from India, sugar from the Caribbean, and rubber from Africa, fed the factories back home, creating a cycle of wealth and power that further entrenched Britain's global position. This unyielding drive for industrial might not only alter the fabric of British society, but also left an indelible mark on the world, shaping cultures and economies for generations to come. As the smokestacks of factories intertwined with tales of conquest on distant shores, Britain's narrative shifted toward one of innovation and empire, marking an era that would forever transform its identity and place in history. The British Empire, once a colossal force guiding numerous nations, transcended mere territorial dominion. It spread ideas, education, literature, and scientific advancements that touched the lives of millions around the globe. From the cobblestone streets of London to the vibrant marketplaces of India, the empire's influence seeped into every aspect of culture, crafting a legacy that remains palpable today. In the realm of education, the empire established libraries and schools, nurturing minds and fostering intellectual growth. These educational institutions were not mere buildings. They were sanctuaries of knowledge, where students gathered to absorb the wisdom of the ages. They delved into the works of great authors and philosophers, often guided by a curriculum shaped by British ideals. The classrooms radiated enthusiasm for learning, as students explored the moral philosophies of the Enlightenment and the empirical observations that led to groundbreaking discoveries. The literary contributions of the empire are indelibly linked to its influential figures, whose works traversed borders and left an everlasting imprint on global literature. Shakespeare, with his profound insight into human emotions, crafted stories that resonated through time and space. His plays and sonnets encapsulated the complexities of the human experience, allowing audiences to connect with their deepest desires and fears. These literary gems became bedrocks of English literature, inspiring countless writers across cultures and eras and fostering a deep appreciation for the arts. In the field of science, the legacy of luminaries like Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin reshaped the very foundation of scientific inquiry. Newton's laws of motion and universal gravitation opened new avenues of understanding, while Darwin's theories of evolution challenged existing paradigms, encouraging scientists to think critically about the origins of life. Their groundbreaking ideas permeated educational curricula worldwide, igniting curiosity and fostering a spirit of discovery among aspiring scientists. This pursuit of knowledge mirrored the ambitions of the empire itself, to explore, understand, and innovate. As we navigate through libraries filled with books that echo imperial stories, and as we walk past schools where young minds are educated, we recall the far-reaching influence of the British Empire. Cultural artifacts born from this historical period offer tangible links to an era where ideas flourished alongside governance. This synthesis of rule and intellectual advancement forged connections across continents, leaving an indelible mark on the world stage, shaping the course of education, literature, and science for generations to come. The World Wars were monumental events that tested the very fabric of empires around the globe. Britain, emerging as a central player in the defeat of fascism, found itself amidst a tumultuous reshaping of power dynamics. Soldiers stood bravely in battlefields, their silhouettes stark against the horizon as they engaged in epic confrontations. The valor displayed on these fronts underlined Britain's determination, yet the weary faces of the troops hinted at the exhaustion from prolonged conflict, illustrating the human cost of war. Amidst the chaos of the battlefield, propaganda posters adorned streets urging unity and resilience. Colors clashed vibrantly in these pieces of art, designed to uplift spirits and galvanize the public. Each slogan echoed through the air, emphasizing the need for collective support during trying times. However, as the dust settled, these same posters began to symbolize more than just patriotism. They foreshadowed the emerging sentiments of independence among colonies as many began to question the very principles of allegiance and loyalty. While Britain reveled in its triumph against tyranny, the aftermath of the wars left a lingering scar on its colonial territories. The resources drained from the empire translated into economic hardship at home and abroad. Colonies, witnessing the sacrifices made by their local populations, sparked movements demanding autonomy. Streets once echoing with fervor, for the war effort now resonated with chants for self-determination. Images of protests emerged, where banners waved defiantly, individuals from diverse backgrounds uniting in their quest for freedom, challenging the status quo in dramatic displays of solidarity. This complex interplay of victory and vulnerability would shape the future of an empire that had long prided itself on its dominion. As British officials grappled with the duality of their achievements and the fallout from extensive resource depletion, the winds of change began to sweep across continents. The seeds of independence sown during turbulent times would eventually blossom into a cascade of movements, leading to the gradual dismantling of colonial rule, redefining relationships and power structures on a global scale. Through these events, a legacy of resilience emerged, hailed by some as a testament to human spirit and lamented by others as the twilight of imperial grandeur.